Now, I absolutely cannot believe it. Literally everything was in Shiny Days' favor. Reduce the screen time of the god-awful protagonist that was and still unfortunately is Makoto to put focus on the best heroine from the original School Days? Brilliant. I love it. Give us a visual novel setting that isn't school-based, god did I just say a forbidden phrase, and instead focus on Setsuna's job and journey to win over Makoto? Well, her taste in men is abysmal, but you've given yourself so much potential. And then you blundered it. You blundered it completely.
それは違うと思うよ。もう殺すわよ。
じゃあバトルスタート。
かっこいい。もしかしてスキャンダル冗談なのか。そうだけど。
Now, if there is one thing this season of Visual Novel Fridays has done, it's transformed me. We start with bland works that are uninspiring. We then play a good but nothing special English visual novel to mix things up. Rewrite Plus blue screens my existence, throwing me into an existential crisis due to both how good it was and how god-awful they fucked up its release. We're then in bliss for all of 5 seconds before I contemplate what a Tide Pod tastes like. Shiny Days is like a Big Mac in the advertisements. You are shown something delicious and you get excited to eat it. But then you are given a sloppy mess with an employee looking down on you saying, "Enjoy it, fat ass." Shiny Days has broke me. I will finally go loose. Let February 18th be the day the hammer has come down. The reason why I have been talking for over a minute about not Shiny Days is because I don't want to talk about Shiny Days. Well, fine. Shiny Days is the prequel to School Days, occurring the summer before School Days. Sakai thrusts her waitress job on Setsuna under the guise of being sick, and she only accepts it because Sakai flaunts the slight possibility of being able to see Makoto to and from work. The first episode has Setsuna slowly learn how to do her waitress job, with the choices being extremely important. Now, Shiny Days has School Days' choice system, meaning you'll need a guide, but more importantly, the choices are made from Makoto's perspective. I can't describe how weird this feels. You watch Setsuna struggle for 90% of the time, and then Makoto will come on the screen and a choice will be given to you. And even furthermore, Shiny Days is a remaster of the game Summer Days that includes an entire separate arc from the original Summer Days' content. Theoretically, if you ignore the dumb Makoto choice system, this seems like an absolute win. Your buck is indeed getting banged. But that's the problem. They give you so much content because you can't play it. I'll explain that in a minute, but I guess I'll give a short, semi-spoilery discussion on some more aspects of the story before I tell you why this thing is hot garbage. Now, I'm just going to be talking about Shiny Days' added content because I couldn't do Summer Days. Again, in a minute. So in Shiny Days, as Setsuna is struggling to be a waitress, an unfortunate accident occurs and she ends up with the rambunctious Inori as her roommate. Basically a delinquent and super high energy girl. The game is unmemorable enough as it is, so I don't remember too many aspects of the story, but Inori's twist at the end pissed me off immensely. And to be honest, what more do I really have to say? I got 2 endings before the game decided to act up, and they weren't anything special. I came here for the bad endings and was stuck with the generic Makoto gets girl X for some reason endings. Maybe, if I saw the bad endings, I'd be happier, but I'm not happy. The story discussion literally ended there, but I've since cooled down a little bit and wanted to add some things. The shrine wars that ended up occurring in at least the routes of Shiny Days I was playing felt pretty interesting. At least, it was a hell of a lot more interesting than anything that happened in School Days. Not all of the new characters fall for Makoto, but realistically, most of them do. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say you can almost do everyone and their moms. Makoto has a pretty large age range, I guess. Would have at least been interested in seeing what occurred in these routes, but I couldn't. The worst part about Shiny Days, though, is that I looked it up, and most of the bad ends, I saw 13 bad ends or so, and I was excited, aren't even that extreme and mostly just abruptly end. Man, you had 1 strength and you should have used it. There is some like femdom Setsuna end, so maybe one day I'll brute force that route alone, but until then I won't bother. And here's why. The game doesn't work. I bought a game and instead I got a wannabe anime that crashes every 5 minutes. For the price of like $40 or so, I feel like I got scammed. And I get it. I might have a PC with specs that happen to not work for this very specific game, and everyone else watching this might be able to play this game flawlessly. But if I can find a thread that gives a partial solution to this problem, then already too many people are experiencing this problem. And the solution is insane. Every time you start the visual novel, you have to open the task manager, disable every chord but one, and possibly set the priority higher, but I don't know if that helps. What a pain in the ass for a solution that only literally delays the inevitable crashes that will occur. I was lucky to actually have made it to some of the endings here, and I can't even get to the endings I want. Sure, I could brute force my way through, eventually making there. But why should I have to put in so much effort into doing so? To experience the story, you may say. But I have no obligation to do either that or even respect said story if you're selling me something that doesn't work. As well, I foolishly went in trying to get an ending without a guide. But much like School Days, even if you choose a choice for one character every time after the first episode, but in said first episode you choose something that makes complete logical sense, it fucks you and you can't get their ending. I mean, guides exist for a reason, but the more visual novels I play, I respect choice systems like If My Heart Had Wings and Hello Lady instead of ones that are overly complicated like Clannad. And of course this. Even if you tell me this game has some really good endings that will change my outlook on life, I wouldn't believe you. The best route in this game will not be the worst route in Clannad, Hello Lady, or If My Heart Had Wings. I may have just entered the complete denial stage. I enjoy the bad endings in School Days, much like I enjoy low-budget horror films. I'm not saying they're good, but I can get immense enjoyment from how bad they are. But now I just feel insulted. Shiny Days probably has the same soundtrack as School Days, considering I can't find it on YouTube, but whatever, it's a fine soundtrack. You still get stiff shots and repeated animations. It's a rebranded School Days with some new characters, okay. The best thing about Shiny Days is that I found this anime OP to laid back camp called Shiny Days, which sounds pretty bomb. So I'm now going to watch this anime, and if it turns out it's bad, I will get even madder. Rejoice, Shiny Days, because I will be one of the sole outliers to give you a 1 on Visual Novel Database. Everyone else may enjoy you to some extent, but you basically blue-balled me. And unfortunately for you, I'm not a masochist. My energy is depleted, and I must now go recharge in my cave. If you watched this far, I apologize for taking years off your life. I have other content, but unfortunately nothing has pissed me off to this extent. So if you want me to make more videos like this, bait me with terrible recommendations. Just like I recommend you to like. One thing I completely forgot to mention is that Katsura's sister gets a sex scene. Kokoro Katsura gets a sex scene. Age 13. This goes beyond lolly. I don't even, if I happen to disappear one day, it's probably because the government has detained me for child porn on my PC. I'm just letting you know, okay? I'm just letting you know. What the fuck is strip battle days? How many days are there? There's too many days. Why do people... Why? She has 4 scenes. Obviously, they got rid of them in the release because it's not legal. Just do what you want.